Can you tell me a little bit about it, and especially the amount of Democrats that actually attended the event?
Well, my approach from the start of my career has been bipartisan, and I've wanted to reach out to Democrats, Republicans, and independents, people of goodwill from any party and from no party, who will support the kind of progressive initiatives I've tried to put forward, whether it's on education, whether it's on health care, whether it's on subjects such as the mentoring project, the Amachi project of Big Brothers Big Sisters that I have supported so strongly, to mentor the children of parents who are in our prisons. We need to break the cycle of the certainty, the near certainty that they are going to end up in prison, and that's why we have now $500,000 in the state budget proposed this year for the Amachi mentoring programs brought to me 3 years ago by Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I'm excited about that and committed to it. I've been working on urban issues since I became the President Pro Tem of the Senate, working very zealously on them in my 3 years as Lieutenant Governor, but also 4 years before that, beginning in January of '01. And we were able to work together in bipartisan fashion with then Governor Holden and other Democrats to preserve historic preservation tax credits at a time of the worst budget downturn in our state since the Great Depression. In those years prior to 2001, you could fire a cannon down Washington Avenue on many evenings, many days, and not hit anyone. Today it's vibrant and alive with sidewalk cafes and great businesses and lofts. 15,000 people have moved downtown, and we think we can double that. I've been a player in all that, whether it was the old post office redevelopment or many others, bringing the grocery store downtown St. Louis. So, you know, it just shows what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit and when you're willing to work together across partisan lines to move Missouri forward. And that's what my campaign has been about, and that's what my career has been about.
Okay. One of the things you touched on in your speech was about what we often have in Missouri, the urban-rural divide, where there's a competition, it seems like, in the state legislature.
Well, Missouri too often has been divided over the years, and a lot of people have talked about it. I'm someone who's attempted and basically risked my career trying to do something about it. Not just talk the talk, but actually walk the walk on bringing our state together, urban and rural. I come from small-town Missouri, about 110 miles south of here, Cape Girardeau. But I've always been St. Louis oriented because we were coming here the whole time I was growing up to go to ball games, or my mother would occasionally drag us to the symphony or the opera. We loved to go to Forest Park and the zoo and the planetarium and all the other cultural advantages here. So I've always been St. Louis oriented and want to continue to try to knit this state together, urban and rural. We don't prosper when we're at each other's throats. We prosper when we're working together, and that's what I've tried to exemplify.
Okay. Last question. You talked about the economic development that can visibly be seen down on Washington Avenue. The backdrop behind you is still in North St. Louis, where still a lot of work needs to be done. What can the state and you as Lieutenant Governor do to help push along the development to the northern parts of the city?
I've been vitally concerned about those neighborhoods that are lagging behind, and in fact once again risked my whole career a year ago and got passed in the economic development bill the distressed areas land assemblage tax credit. And what that means is for decades the urban core has been hollowing out, people have been moving out, and the city has ended up the largest landowner in the city because they have to knock down the buildings and you have vacant ground, or you have decaying buildings that become crack houses and other evidence of urban decay. The distress areas land assemblage tax credit comes along and says to the developer who will come in and amass tracts of land of 75 acres or larger, we will give you a tax credit for the costs you have in acquisition of properties and 50% of your construction costs going forward, and you can assemble tracts of land that are large enough to redevelop huge parts of North St. Louis. We think North St. Louis is on the verge of a renaissance. I got bipartisan support for that tax credit measure, which the Post-Dispatch called in an editorial a kinder tax credit, and praised. And So once again, it was an example of working together across party lines to do what's right. And we think within a few short years, you're going to see an urban renaissance that spreads across North St. Louis, in an area that has been lagging and where people have suffered urban decay can once again be welcomed into and participate in the American dream right here in North St. Louis.